Hi, I'm Sarah from MVMT, and today's teaching tip in Nordic walking is all about timing. So we're going to have a little look at how I think of timing in relation to pole planting and the use of my poles, and then we'll transition that on to transitions, which I'll come to later. So timing, we think of timing a lot when we're Nordic walking, and often when I've taught people, they've got a rhythm, they've got a count in their head going on along with everything else, and so it can be useful. Let's use that timing. So if we think of one time, so get one time in your head to begin with. One time for me is using single pole planting, okay? And that can be used to strengthen up a non-dominant side, to practice a specific area that might need to be looked at. It gives people time to focus on technique. If they're struggling to get both arms going together, single pole planting, taking the other out of the equation, just gives people that breathing space to focus and to think about the technique with a little bit more time. So if we think one time as a single pole plant, let's have a look at that. So using opposites still, so opposite arm, opposite leg, one time, one, 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 one. Hopefully that's nice and clear. It can be as fast or as slow as you need it to be. Okay, so that is our one time. That's something you can play around with, and we often do with clients, giving them the time to just practice that timing that is needed. So two time, let's think of two time. For me, it's traditional Nordic walking using alternates. So two time, 1, 2, 1, 2. And often you get people getting this rhythm in their heads, which is not a bad thing at all. Think of a metronome, you get it set to the pace you want, and off you go. So that would be two time for me. Two time. Okay? One time, two time. I'm thinking in dance terms, apologies. And then three time, and I'm pushing the descriptions a little bit with this, but three time double poling. Double poling. Great technique for getting up steeper sections of terrain, for practicing that opening up of the chest and that push back as you go forwards. So a lot to love about double pole plant. Great practice. If you ski, you'll be well used to using double pole plants on the flat bits perhaps to scoot along. So think of that as three time, and let's have a little look at what it looks like. So we plant, 2, 3, plant, 2, 3, plant, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you've got a different speed, if your legs work at a different speed to the arms, it might be that it's 2 steps between, but generally on the flat, 3 works really nicely, and you can speed it up. If you want to, and you can slow it down when you go uphill. So on uphill, you might be planting and walking, planting and walking. Okay, so think of that as 3 time in the round. So 1 time single pole plant, 2 time your alternates, 3 time your double pole plant. Put your own descriptions to it, whatever works for you. Running, just a note, see a lot of people running with poles, not necessarily with the Nordic walking straps, which for me are the game changer. But the double pole plant doesn't really fit. It's bouncy, it's not particularly fluid. So there is another technique which I use for running. A lot of people I know use that technique for running, and we'll call it 4 time. We'll do it somewhere else some other time, but I would classify that as 4 time, and it is different. It is not double pole plant. Okay, so I hope that's given you some ideas of what you can use in terms of timing to guide people and to play around with technique. And finally, the bit that brings it all together, if you want a drill to do with clients, that would be to look at practicing transitions between those different plants of the pole. And the benefit of the transition training is it's going to give you fluidity when you're out using the poles. It makes them more of a natural extension of you. So when you're out walking, you can switch from maybe a double pole plant, maybe you're chatting away, having a double pole plant, and then you get more into your stride. Might be that you've got a load of ferns on one side, you can't plant your left pole particularly easily, but you can your right. Okay, so you can just flip between these things and practice these transitions, and it's a really good thing to practice, just getting into the habit of moving between all of these different pole plants. So have a play around with it, but transitions, have a go at it. It's a great drill to do with people and will give so much more confidence in using the poles around the different terrain that there is, and feeling more able to just keep the fluidity of moving over ground at a set speed. Enjoy. Any comments, let me know. Thank you.